Yeah, it's streaming. So, hey guys, good evening. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day.
Yeah, halfway through the week.
Halfway through the week. I'm still finishing dinner. We had a late dinner. But we're here. Hey, with a V.
With a V, what's up?
What's up, buddy?
Back.
Hello,
Hope you had a nice day.
Yeah. We don't even know, with a V, we don't even know if you work. We don't know if you're working or what you're doing. I mean, not that it's our business, but we don't know if you work today or what you did.
We were talking about last night how helpful it is to have you. And I said, man, with the V, he doesn't seem to miss any of them, man. He just gets in there and
got the YouTube notification. Good. Well, awesome. We're getting better. We're getting this system down.
Maybe we'll get somebody on there. I think we had somebody in last night, but then they left.
Yeah, we had one person coming and going, different people, I'm sure it was, but on YouTube, it's, we just don't have the following yet. I'm trying to get into grad school. Oh, good for you.
Nice.
That's awesome. Well, you'll have to let us know how that goes. And we wish you the best of luck getting into grad school. What do you want to do with that? So everybody else, Mike and I are here. Psychology.
Oh, psychology.
University of Florida.
Getting into the brains.
Love it.
Scary.
Yeah, I love that. So yeah, we, for everyone else that's coming and seeing our live, obviously, Mike and I run this company. We're co-founders of this company, Veterans Lending Group. It's a national VA specialty mortgage company. We basically have, 65% of our staff are prior service or military spouses. And we specialize in VA loans nationally across the country. It's what we do all day, every day. So we are specializing in helping military families by answering questions. We're here to just answer your questions. So you guys can hit us with anything that's finance related when it comes to mortgage finances, budgeting, buying houses, using mortgages, using your VA home loan benefit, buying multifamily, buying land and building using your VA loan. All of that stuff is open game.
And we're off. We're getting going talking about VA loans, just like we like it. I'll take the first one. Looks like Cold War vet Jason. What's up, Jason? You already know the answer, it sounds like, but is it a good time to sell, whether getting 300K profit or not? Well, I think that's a double-edged sword, right? Is it a good time to sell? Yeah, there's not a lot of inventory. So from that side of it, you listing right now would, if you've got a particularly nice home, it'd be a little diamond, and you'd have people going for it. Also, rates are dropping. We had another price improvement today for rates and one yesterday. So we're already kind of trending that way. Overall way down for being, close to 8% there for a while. So you've got that going for you. The problem is on the flip side of that is where are you going to live? What do you have to buy? Because whatever you're going to buy is going to be the same deal, right? You're going to leave with some equity, and that's great. But you'll be paying prices where they are. Prices have come down, but they didn't fall way down to what they were years ago. So you still have that, and you still are looking at rates that are probably in the high fives, low sixes. So your call, man.
I will say, if you've lived in the house for 2 of the last 5 years, if you're not active and you've lived there, then you won't have to pay capital gains. Mm-hmm. We're not tax accountants, but you shouldn't have to pay capital gains because you get that exemption up to $250,000 if you're single, and up to $500,000 if you're married, filing jointly. So that is another benefit. So if you've lived there for 2 of the last 5 years, if you haven't, you might want to wait until you hit that 2-year mark, because then you can save a lot of money, because capital gains is usually 30%, something around there. JD, what is the requirements to use your VA loan to get another property and use it as an Airbnb? Good question, JD. So you can buy another property if you have a home already using your VA loan. We just have to look at, and you can retain the home that you have using your VA loan already and turn that into a rental. You have to occupy the new house that you're going to buy using the VA loan. So if it's a multifamily, then you can have rental income day one, right? Because you're living in one unit, you're renting out the other units. If it's not multifamily, it's a single family home, then you have to occupy it. VA's requirements are that you intend to occupy as your primary residence and that you occupy within 60 days or a reasonable period of time from closing. Once you have occupied the home, then if you need to move out and turn it into a rental and you choose to Airbnb it, you're good to go. It doesn't matter if you short-term it or long-term it. You're allowed to do that. after you have occupied the property. Some lenders will tell you have to do it for 12 months. VA's guidelines don't state that you have to do it for 12 months, but you will sign an occupancy affidavit in your closing package and your documents that you sign when you go to closing that states that you intend to occupy that property for 12 months. If something changes, you get PCS orders, you get a job transfer, anything like that, you're good to go to move out in less than 12 months.
Average man Dan, I had a foreclosure on a previous VA loan. Can I try again? You definitely can, Dan. There's a 2-year waiting period. And if you had a foreclosure, it takes the VA about a year to figure out what their loss was. So you got that time in there anyway that you're burning up. Once they do, if there was any loss, it's just that portion of your entitlement that you've lost. You haven't actually lost it. If you paid it back, you could get it back, but not many people do. So yeah, it's just that one. You still have your whole second tier of entitlement remaining, and you would be good to go with your VA
loan. Let's see here. I had a foreclosure. You just covered that one. EC Big H2O Comps. Thanks for sharing the live. We appreciate that. Apple user, how does the VA construction loan work with buying land? Great question. So the construction loan is going to finance the purchase of the land and the construction of the home. If you already own land or you have a family member gifting it to you or something like that, you can then just finance the construction of the home, but it will be all put together in one package secured by the land and the home. The construction loan allows you to finance up to $1 million zero down of the land and construction build. Over $1 million is 5% down. You do have to have a 620 minimum credit score for this program. It is unique. Our other VA loans, you don't have to have a 620 minimum credit score. We go by the VA guidelines, and the VA guidelines state that there is no minimum credit score requirement to use your VA loan. However, this is a unique program, higher risk, takes longer to get the guarantee from the VA because we can't get the guarantee from the VA until you have completed the house 100%. So, but other than that, it's going to finance the construction. There's a whole process. If you're interested in learning more about it, you can go to YouTube on VA Loan Bish, on my VA Loan Bish channel on YouTube. You will find a detailed video where we go over the one-time close custom construction over like an hour and a half. There's actually a couple videos. We also walk you through like talking to a builder and figuring out what builder is the right builder for you to build with. So there's a lot of information there if you want more details, or DM us and we're happy to schedule a one-on-one consultation with you to kind of go through that in detail.
Angelo's asking if I want to get a duplex, do I have to live in it? And the answer is yes, you do. Anything that you're getting, with a VA loan, you have to occupy as your primary residence. So you live in one side, you can rent out the other side right on day one. There's no issue with renting out that other side there, but yes, you'll have to occupy it.
Cold War vet, ever see a 1.7% APR again? No, probably not. I don't know. I mean, I would love, we don't truly know, right?
But I just don't see it.
We don't have a crystal ball, but if something major happens to the economy again and they have to do more quantitative easing, which is where they infuse the market and government purchases mortgage-backed securities, then yes, we could see them.
We could see them. We were going backward that whole time though. I mean, it costs, I don't know the exact number, but it's over 2% just to service a loan. So there's just no money being made at that. Sweet Little Bricks, credit union over lending group.
Sweet Little Bricks, you said that before.
Yeah, I think maybe you work at a credit union or something like that, but that's cool. If that's your cup of tea, then, enjoy the credit union.
We actually just interviewed a gal that is no longer working for Navy Fed recently. And her feedback was, that they have massive pipelines. They can't get to all their files because they have too big of pipelines. They don't close very quickly. And
I almost hate addressing it every night. So I'm just like, yeah, if that's what you like,
I know.
Go.
Sweet Little Bricks.
Enjoy it, Sweet Little Bricks.
The thing is, I started my mortgage career at a credit union, and it was great to do that. It was a great experience. Being a member of a credit union is a cool thing, just not for mortgage, typically.
Okay, Yasina, that already got answered. Jonathan, I'm 19-year-old guard. I need 3 years more to get COE. Should I try to deploy or wait till contract ends? Boy, that seems like a personal question to me, man. There's and I think there's what is it? Hometown
recruiter, but that's for National Guard. Yeah. National Guard.
Yeah, Jonathan, I'm guessing. Take a look at that hometown recruiter. That's something that our friend Mortar got on here was talking to us about. He is a recruiter for the National Guard, and it's a local activation. So I believe it is Title 10, right? Or is it 32?
I think it'd be 32 if it's
32.
local. Yeah, if it's state activated.
Yeah, but it'll get you your 90 days. Then you can be activated. Then you're good to go. Then you wouldn't have to make that choice.
Yeah, and you might not necessarily have to deploy.
Yeah.
So yeah, check that out. DA 1,000. Would someone with a 4-year contract in the National Guard be eligible for a VA loan? So kind of similar to what we just talked about. Guard and reserves have to serve 6 years in the Guard or reserves if you're never activated. But if you're activated under Title 10 or Title 32 orders, then you only have to serve 90 days under those active orders. So like Mike said, there's some options and solutions that you can find. So Hometown Recruiter might be something that's available in your local market that could get you that active service that you need to qualify for the VA loan quickly.
This is Abby and Chanel. Does 100% TDRL make a difference when using your VA loan? You think it does?
I mean, yes? It waives the VA funding fee, and you could potentially qualify for tax exemptions. Total permanent TDRL?
I don't think so. I don't think you're saying, because isn't TDRL? It's similar to like a disability award, but it isn't, right? Or am I mistaken?
Is a list temporary disability retired list? Is a list of military service members who are unable to perform their duties due to disability. So
you're still compensated. There still is. It's very similar to like that, but it isn't a full blown waiver. So unfortunately, it doesn't. If it does flop over and you get your permanent and total, then of course, then everything Brooke just said would make sense. But on TDRL, it's temporary, so can't use it. It'd be like a temp job.
But if you get any rating, any permanent rating that's 10% or more higher VA disability rating, then your funding fee is waived, your VA funding fee. And that can save you thousands of dollars. If you buy a $500,000 house, it's like $15,000, $17,000 in savings.
Mm-hmm.
POHO lifts.
POHO lifts. Do I have to pay housing tax if I'm 100% permanent total? My friend, so property taxes is what you're asking about, and that is going to vary from state to state and county to county. There's certain states, and if you want, you can go to either one of our websites, VALoanBish.com, VAMikeDrop.com. We have a link on there that'll run down all the benefits in every single state. So easy one to go to. I don't know where you are, so I wouldn't even know how to comment on that. If you're in Texas, yes. There's a few other states where it's a yes. I believe Florida, you still have to apply for it, but that would be a yes. But I don't know where you are, my friend.
Cryo, can you use it to buy anything? I think you're talking about the one-time closed construction loan. So you can use it to buy land and then build a single family, a multifamily, a modular home. You can order a manufactured home from the factory and place that on permanent foundation and like add a shed or a garage or finish the landscaping, all that stuff. Barn dominiums and log homes, 3D printed homes. Those are the types of construction you can build when you're using the VA one-time closed construction loan. So pretty dynamic program.
I wonder if you guys would do us a favor. We're trying to run a little experiment. We were talking last night, and I hate to do this. Usually Brooke and I just get on here and we just start talking and answering questions. We don't pay attention to really much of the algorithm or anything. But we noticed last night we did get like an influx of people after people were liking. So if it's not too much to ask, would you guys pound that like real quick? We just want to see if it actually does kind of spread it out there and bring more people in. Just so we know how
Which means we need to speed up and answer questions. Charlie Brown, I used my VA loan 10 years ago and already paid off. Can I get a VA loan to build a new home in California? Yes. Charlie Brown, if you paid off your VA loan, you have 100% of your entitlement available, and you can reuse your VA loan without a county cap because there's no county cap if you're not currently using your VA loan. Holy cow, you guys. Thank you for all the likes. That's awesome.
Oh, you guys hit? I don't even see.
2,000, 2,100
you guys
already.
are rad.
You
Man,
guys are
thank
amazing.
you. I was like, oh shit, nobody heard me, but I forgot we move our screen over so it's all questions. We can't see the likes. Sorry.
So yes, Charlie Brown, it's available to you to reuse your VA loan. If you are currently using your VA loan, you can actually reuse your VA loan as well. So, but you should be good to go to move forward with buying that house in California.
All right, where are we at?
Jay, I was told I can have a gravel driveway I can have a gravel driveway with a VA loan. Tell me that is BS. I think you're saying I was told you can't.
You definitely can. Yes. Whoever told you that is a moron.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Oh, can't. Yeah, he corrected right there. Yeah, okay. Jay, that's bullshit.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation out there about the VA loan program, you guys, and this is why we do this class or teach these lives, get on here and talk about it, because we like to dispel the myths, because unfortunately there's just so much wrong info. Sorry.
Brooke's going back.
Go ahead and just answer that one.
Can I buy a triplex with a VA loan and rent the other 2 units out? Yes, you can. Absolutely. I covered that on the duplex. That's from day one, you can do that. And if you're getting multi-unit, you guys, you can actually use 75% of the rent or allocate or propose rent from the units you'll be renting out to help qualify.
Curtis, how hard is it to get pre-approved or get approved for a lender with only using a VA disability income. It just depends on what part of the country you're buying in, what the home prices are there, whether or not you're going to have taxes and insurance waived, right, or probably property taxes waived because of your disability rating, and then what are your debts. So all of those things will impact your qualifying. Have we done it? Yes. Can we, consistently, recently? Yes. But not everybody qualifies with just VA disability income. The cool thing about VA disability income is we can gross it up by 25% and account for it being 25% higher than you actually receive because it's non-taxable pay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
let's
life,
talk about
baby.
life. I bought my house with a VA for $350K. I heard I can buy a second home due to the cap of $750. Yeah. So, you can buy a second and third, right? Or a fourth or a fifth. It depends on how much remaining entitlement. What you're referencing at that $750 is the county loan limit. And I don't actually know what your county loan limit is. I can tell you that the base county loan limit throughout the country is actually $766,550. So a touch more than what you specified. But there is high cost areas. There's high cost areas in several states, Washington, Virginia, Hawaii they're all over the place. And if that's the case, you would have your eligibility or entitlement would stretch. So with that particular one, Brooke did some math for you, and basically you would be zero down. You'd have about $416,000 remaining. Again, zero down. And it's not a hard cap, you guys. If you need to go over that, you can. You just have to cover 25% of the gap between your zero down amount and the purchase price.
Thank you. World Crusher Broly. Are you guys in Texas by chance, or know any agents looking to buy in a year? You're looking to buy in a year. Yes, yeah. We are in Texas. We have a location in San Antonio, Schertz, and Killeen, Texas. And our team lends in all 50 states, actually. So we can help you regardless of where you are in the country.
RJ, what's up, man? You've got an active VA loan. How can I use it again to buy a second home? Very, very simply, you absolutely can retain that home, turn it into a rental, and use your benefit again. I don't know how much you spent on that first house or where you live to be able to do the math for you, but that's basically what it is, right? When you're not using any of your entitlement at all, then you don't have to adhere to the county loan limit. So your first one is a freebie. A lot of people will free up their benefit to get like their forever home, or if they're spending a lot of money and it's still zero down, it's multiples of millions of dollars or whatever. But for you in this case, you're going to retain a property. So a portion of your entitlement is going to stick with that property. And we have to do some math based off the county loan limit to see what your zero down is remaining. My guess is you have a chunk. There's not much that you have to do differently this time than you did last time. It's starting with the pre-approval. Most areas, we can just assume that it's going to be a rental. We can look on something called hot pads or whatever and figure what we're going to estimate for rent there to offset that mortgage payment on the current property when qualifying you for the new property. So it's really pretty straightforward. There's no crazy hoops. It's a departure residence, so you don't have to have reserves. It's really set up for you to be able to use it and thrive. So.
Thank you. Jeffrey Bryant, our mortgage application was just submitted. Awesome, buddy. We will be in touch. Our team will probably reach out to you, tomorrow. They definitely will reach out to you tomorrow sometime, but maybe tomorrow Jeffrey. Morning, midday. So we look forward to working with you. Appreciate Alpha Z Photography, new realtor here. Instant follow.
Oh, sweet. Shit. All caps.
That's awesome.
Hey, Alpha Z, if you do have any questions or just need any kind of guidance or think that we can help you out, you can always DM us just on the side. We're happy that we do this all the time. Not just on here, but for agents, for all kinds of people. We've been doing it a long time.
And we're actually going to start a mastermind group for real estate agents. That's like probably once a month, talking about how to better serve military families, because we love to make sure that realtors are getting the education that they need. A lot of the problem with real estate agents is they just don't know, because you don't get taught by your brokers. And I'm literally in the process of studying for the Florida real estate licensing exam, because I have to swap my license from Washington to Florida. And I'm reading the finance chapter, and I'm like, this is freaking wrong. Like half of the stuff in there is actually wrong. So anyways, it's, it starts with the state schooling and kind of goes beyond that.
Backyard headstone homestead. I like that. What's the ratio of home value versus land value on a one-time close? So there really isn't one, and this is something we even talk. I know I have been guilty of saying this a couple times months ago when we kind of first started this going live, where it was an issue, right? If the land had more value than the actual structure, it was a problem. It doesn't seem to be as much of a problem anymore. It kind of comes down to the appraiser, from what I understand. When I talk to our, national director on the one-time close department. So that really is where it's at. There's also not an acreage cap. We hear that overlay all the time. Can't go over an acre, can't go over 5 acres, whatever it is. That's all bullshit. So yeah, there is no actual ratio. Just needs to make sense.
Will the VA approved manufactured homes, J Blocker 100%? Yes, VA manufactured homes are good to go. A lot of lenders won't touch them. So just a heads up, if you get told no, it's because that mortgage company won't do manufactured homes, but we do manufactured homes all day, everywhere. It has to be on a permanent foundation, and it has to be newer than 1976.
Yeah. Chrism 1665 just wants to know, what if you got bad credit? To that, I would have to ask you a couple questions. Do you mean you have a low credit score, or you actually have bad credit history? They're two very different things. I don't care about your credit score. That's going to adjust your interest rate, but has nothing to do with your actual pre-qualification. If you do have bad credit history, and I'm assuming the score is low as well, it probably is going to trigger us to be a manual approval, in which case we have to go off VA guidelines, where we're looking 12 months into the history on your credit report and 24 months into the rental. So what we see there is going to dictate whether you get approved or not. Your credit score alone has nothing to do with that approval.
Daddy Does Goofy. How can someone take on my VA loan that I got? If they buy the property, it's 2.7. So if you have a VA loan, it likely is an assumable mortgage. Now that depends on each mortgage servicing company. And I have a buddy that I tried to help get his mortgage assumed by another buyer, and that mortgage company wouldn't even respond to us. They had no knowledge of the assumption. They didn't know what to do. They didn't have a process. So it depends on the mortgage company that you're making your mortgage payments to. There is no standard protocol. There is no accountability. There is no process that most of these mortgage companies follow. So the first thing I would do is call my mortgage company and find out, do you do assumptions? What is your process? How long do they take? Is there a cost to me? What's the cost to the new buyer, so that you have some information going into putting your house on the market or offering it as an assumable mortgage. The other thing I'd be watching out for is just making sure that whoever assumes your mortgage, you get a release of liability and you keep your VA loan entitlement. It gets released from that house. So that means they have to have their own VA loan entitlement to take over and replace your VA loan entitlement, because you don't want to keep your entitlement connected to that house. In the event that that person defaults on the loan, you lose that portion of your entitlement.
I want to thank all you guys who smashed the like button, but it really proved our numbers stayed like exactly the same. So the amount of likes doesn't seem to have anything to do with who stops here.
Must not be a factor.
Yeah. So thanks for proving that for us. Where are we at? I have a Sean's got a 6.5 interest VA loan and got below 500 credit score. Is it zero chance for an EARL? Sean, great question, man. So no, the EARL is non-credit qualifying. So your credit score doesn't matter. I mean, we do have to pull in a mortgage only report when we're doing an EARL, and we're basically just looking to see that you don't have any lates. That's really
on your mortgage.
On your mortgage. We're not even looking at. We don't even see what's there for other debts or anything. So the 500, right? The credit score is still going to work the same way, right? There probably is an adjuster with the mortgage company if you're going to EARL
for your interest rate.
For your interest rate only, but the score itself, it does not matter. So that's a streamlined one. You definitely can EARL, and let us know if you need to EARL.
Oh, it looks like some of our live comments were filtered, so maybe that's why our audience is a little bit lower, but that's okay. We are happy to have 75 people here. Where are you guys located? We are physically located in Florida. We have locations all across the country. We run veterans lending groups. So this is a national mortgage team that is lending in all 50 states. We have teams all across the country. We lend in all 50 states, but we're not necessarily located in all 50 states. We're physically in Florida, like I said.
Black Knight Mistress just wants us to know, don't sign your paperwork in blank.
Yeah.
Sign your signature. Okay.
Yeah, don't sign blank paperwork. Absolutely don't sign blank paperwork.
No, I think maybe she's talking about an app or something. Don't sign your paperwork in blank. Assign your signature. Yeah, I don't know what that is. We use something called Blend if we're doing any kind of digital anything. but thanks for the tip. Appreciate that.
If you don't put any money down, won't your payment be higher? Jesse Padilla, somebody asked this last night. I don't know if it was you or the day before, but yes, technically the higher you finance, the higher the amount financed, the higher your payment. So if you put money down, that lowers your financed amount, which lowers your mortgage payment. However, putting $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 down doesn't move the needle much on your monthly payment, because your loans amortize over a 30-year period of time. So there's better ways to spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. If you have $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 and you're putting that as a down payment to drastically lower your mortgage payments, that might make more sense. But we can definitely do a comparison of saving the money, putting it in a high yield savings account, seeing what you can earn on that money, investing it in a stock market or putting it in S&P, like kind of looking at other options for that so that you keep your reserves, because cash is king.
Charlie's asking, how can we contact you? That's a really good question. There's 3 ways. The easiest way, I think the quickest is probably just to shoot us a DM right here in this app. We do watch those. We do get back to everybody. Or Brooke and I both have landing pages, VALoanBish.com, VAMicDrop.com.
And it's Bish, B-I-S-H.
Yep.
And it's Mike Drop, M-I-K-E.
Yeah. So you can go there, and same thing. You can actually schedule like calendar time to speak with us, meet face to face. You can shoot us just a message. You can fill out a form to have us contact you. So you got a bunch of different ways to get at us.
Awesome. Okay, the Jay Massey, we answered your question. House 1130. I'm with CCM as well. Great watching you guys. Awesome. Nice,
rock and roll.
Nice to see you, CCM.
I wish I could see. The pictures are so small, so I can't make anybody out. But maybe we'll see. Are you going to Austin? You going to Austin this year? Sales rally. Maybe we'll see you there.
We'll be there. No money down, really a thing. Jesse, it really is. With VA loans, yes. Most of our clients purchase and finance with zero down. Don't listen to Dave, what's his face? Ramsey. His advice isn't necessarily Bible, right? It's not the best advice. Some of his things I like, but I don't love the fact that he tells military families not to use their VA loan zero down. What he says just really doesn't make any sense.
User question. I got out in 97, never used OT. I think you mean it. Am I still eligible? Yeah, you are. Your benefit doesn't die off. It's not like it was a long time ago where you had 10 years and it was use it or lose it. You got that bad boy till the end.
Doesn't ever expire, and you can reuse it over and over again, and you can have multiple VA loans at one time. Mm-hmm. How can I use my VA loan to do a new build? Army vet, you can. Basically, the pre-approval process is very similar on your end. It's a little different on our end, so it takes a little bit longer for us. But I have a YouTube video that actually goes into the process in length because it is kind of a lengthy process, but it's a beautiful option. We do have a lot of successfully. We are closing a lot of these one-time close construction loans nationally across the country, and there's not very many lenders that can say they are doing that with the VA program. So go to my YouTube, VA Loan, B-I-S-H, Bish. And you'll find the video in the VA one-time close or buy land and build section. You'll find a video that goes into detail on that program. If you don't find it, reach out to us, DM us, or you can click the link in my bio to connect, and we can make sure that we answer your questions.
Hey, Gina Lynn, just joined the chat. Can I buy land and have something built new, or am I limited? And I think I saw something below, and you're in North Carolina. Yeah, so the only state that we can't do that in is actually Alaska right now. So North Carolina, you're good to go. And what you're referring to is the VA one-time close custom construction, where you do, in fact, you buy land and you can build on it. So the land and the build is one loan. Essentially, you put the land under contract and for write it for a 60 or 90-day close while you are finalizing all your figures with the construction, picking your plans and finishes and all that good stuff. The loan actually closes and the land is paid for on the first draw. So it becomes one. But yeah, totally doable. We do a lot of them, and it's a really great product.
And it looks like there's a lot of people asking about the buy land and build. So guys, head over to the YouTube, go watch that video, or we do a live class once a month. So the next one's coming up in the next week or so here. And you can click on the link in my bio and go to my website. It'll show education on there and the next classes that are coming up. Thank you. We appreciate you, JDG. You're saying we're great. Thank you for being here and asking questions. We love answering your guys' questions. Stranger Within is asking, getting a new home and selling your current home using a VA loan for current and new. Yes, you can sell your home that has a VA loan and reuse your VA loan and have 100% of your entitlement left, so you have no county cap, as long as you're closing either simultaneously, so you're closing on the sale and the purchase on the same day, or you close on the sale and then you close on the purchase maybe the following day or afterwards.
Yeah, if you don't need any entitlement.
If you don't need any entitlement, yeah. So, no, your entitlement gets restored if you close on the sale and then you go to the purchase, is what I was saying.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was talking for the same day. For the same day when it would be the only time it'd be a problem.
No, because the same day they do it and the processing on the back end. They restore the COE. Anyhow, sometimes Mike and I disagree on things, which is fun.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
That's all right.
We close simultaneous deals all the time.
We get along here, this goes off, we fist fight. We fight all night. No, I'm kidding. But
okay, yeah. Moving along. VA is a yes. Journey with God. Is there a ratio land home to value? Nope, we answered that. Is custom build difficult? It's difficult in the fact that it's just a lot more cumbersome, right? And it's okay. We have a big Trump fan in the house. I'm sorry, Edward. We appreciate your interest, but you're just you're definitely spamming the shit out of us right now. So, But anyways, so the one-time construction loans are a little bit more cumbersome, right? It's more work for you guys because you have to find a builder. You have to figure out what floor plan you're building. You have to figure out what flooring you want and what lighting fixtures you want and what siding and what, what you're putting into the package. So it's definitely more work for you, but it doesn't mean, and it's a little bit harder to qualify for because we do have a minimum credit score on our VA one-time close, and we don't have a minimum credit score on regular VA loans. So, but it's not hard to qualify. You have to have a 620 minimum score. That's not super difficult for most people. Now, if you have credit challenges, we can work with you to get you prepared to where you can qualify for the VA one-time close.
Okay, coming right into it, we've got the Hilda. Your question is, can my Airbnb count as rental income? And basically, I mean, if you're renting out the property and you are disclosing it on your tax returns and you have 2 years of filed tax returns, what we do is we look at the amount of days that it was rented, the income that came in, and then all the write-offs, all the costs. And that's how we figure it out. Could be a plus, could be a minus, but it is usable if there is income in that.
A lot of you guys are asking about states. And like V said, with a V said in the comments, we do lend in all 50 states.
Everywhere.
Plus Puerto Rico, actually. So we can assist you wherever you are in the country. Can you do a barn build with land in Texas? Yes, we can.
Yeah.
We can do Maine. Yes. How long does it take to get approved for a VA loan for reservists? It's the same process, whether you're reservist, National Guard, or active duty. So we're going to qualify you the same way. Just the only difference is your term, how long you've been in service if you qualify for the VA entitlement, right? The VA home loan benefit.
Okay.
Valari.
Valari, I have excellent credit. What's the refinance rate right now on a VA loan that is currently 6.5? Valari, I don't know exactly, right? I'm glad to know that you have excellent credit, but I don't know anything else. And I also don't know what type of refi. Are you talking about a cash out refi or just an ERL, an interest rate reduction refinance loan? Please specify, and then I can give you something a little more accurate. Yes, we do California. We're in every state. What's your advice for first-time home buyers? You know what? Boonad, usually we go into this, but man, it takes us a while. So you know what my new advice is? My new advice is to just enroll in one of our first-time home buyer classes, basically for VA. It just teaches you all about your benefit, and it will line out. It's I think they're 45 minutes. We have them in person and on like Zoom, where you can just log in from anywhere. Where do we have
DM us, because the new schedule isn't up yet. But if you just DM us, we'll get you the information. If anybody on here wants to see, it's basically like VA Loans 101, and it walks you through all of that. We also have the one-time close custom construction class that's different. And we also have a credit class coming up. So for anyone who has credit challenges, we will be rolling out a credit class for budgeting and repairing credit.
Outside of Brooke and I, we actually have a full veteran run education department. So that's who you guys would be linking up with. Super cool guys. Everybody, cool. They really know their shit. They've been in the industry a long time. And that's where I would love to send people now.
Let's see. Yes, Flor and Boonad, if you can't attend any of the classes and you just want more information, DM us and we'll have a one-on-one consultation with you.
For sure. Junior Mathis, yes, Florida resident here. We'll be contacting you and your services. Thanks, Junior Mathis, appreciate that, man.
Florida. We love Florida.
Baby.
Yeah. Sonia Johnson, low credit score. Again, Sonia, remember, VA does not have a minimum credit score requirement, but your credit score is indicative of if you've had late payments over the last 12, 24 months. VA wants to know that you have reestablished credit, which means you do not have lates over the last 12 months, or you have very minimal lates, like maybe one. Collections, old charge-offs, old foreclosures, old repossessions, any of that stuff has to be older than 12 months old since it was open, since it was a new account. But again, let us take a look at your credit report. When we have pre-approvals, when we're working on pre-approvals and we're pulling people's credit to look at it, we're going to do a soft credit pull, which means it doesn't have any negative impact on your credit score. There's no cost to you. We don't charge you for the credit report. It costs us a lot of money, but we do it because we want to make sure that we're guiding people properly, right? So if you want to have us pull your credit, we can tell you.
And that kind of goes for Brock. Brock's asking really if there's an app we'd recommend where it's going to check the score without pulling. Brock, there's like, I think you get like Credit Karma, you get like one free one. If you're a Navy Fed customer, though, there's something in there where you can pull it once in a while. But keep in mind, you guys, when you do pull that in, it doesn't factor in the new debt of a mortgage. Like when we do a pull, whether it's a hard or soft pull, it does factor in that new mortgage. So a lot of times people will come to us and go, yeah, my credit score is X. And then we pull it, and actually, it's actually a little bit lower because it is factoring in like you have a new mortgage. So don't be shocked if that happens.
Unless it's Credit Karma, those are always higher for some reason. Lower, I mean. Lower. Those are always lower than our mortgage credit reports. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
It's weird.
All right, good. So maybe go to Credit Karma. Ray, he's got an OTH.
Oh, Ray. Okay, I have an OTH discharge with 551 days of service. Can I still use a VA home loan? Ray, very possibly. We would need to actually see your DD 214 and then submit that to the VA Regional Loan Center, the eligibility department, and see what their response is. We have helped veterans with an OTH discharge.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would also ask if you had any other term of service with a honorable discharge, because the honorable discharge would trump an OTH or a dishonorable discharge.
Or any rating at all can help. Okay, DFlow 12. It just says, I have a question. And then
probably somewhere there.
Nothing.
DM us if we don't see your question, we don't get to you.
Yeah, we'd love to. Kimber just gave us a heart, I believe. Thank you, Kimber. We like hearts.
Thanks for sharing the live.
Yeah.
Diami, DFlow, Emily. Thank you guys, all of you. I'll call you tomorrow. What's the refinance rate right now for the VA with excellent credit, Valari? Rates dropped today, which is great. We had some improvement to interest rates. So again, we're seeing people lock in the low sixes, mid sixes, high fives, depending on what your credit score is, depending on what your property type is. Manufactured homes have slightly higher interest rates than stick-built houses. The state that you're in could affect you. What type of refinance, whether it's an IRRRL or a cash-out refinance, all of those things will impact what you're doing for a rate. So reach out to us. We're happy to just get you a quote and a loan estimate so you know what it would look like to work with us.
St. Thompson, Thompson 2114 just says, hey, I'm looking for a home. I'm new to this. I have no clue where to start. I'm glad you asked the question. Essentially, you want to start with a pre-approval. And I don't care if it's with us, just you need to get pre-approved before you're even looking for a home, before you're talking to realtors, before you're doing any of that. And there's probably even some folks in this live right now that haven't done that. And you guys you're really screwing yourselves. And I know you don't know it, but you aren't going to be able to go out there, and some homes won't even let you preview them unless you have a pre-approval, but let alone make an offer. It ain't going to happen. I mean, the first thing they ask for with that offer is your pre-approval, and a pre-qual isn't going to cut it either. It's got to be a full-blown pre-approval. So that's always where you start, guys. It goes financing, then it goes realtor, then it goes home search. And I know it's hard with Zillow and Redfin, and you're looking at the sexy homes, and money's not sexy, and talking to realtors sucks. And we know all that stuff, but that's the order.
Would a pregnant wife work? They could.
Some of them work.
Yeah, some of them work. And if they're pregnant and they're working, we can use their income.
We don't discriminate against pregnant wives.
No, I've been one.
As long as they, yeah.
We definitely don't discriminate. Carlos, how does VA disability income work with VA home loan? Basically, we can use the disability income as qualifying income. It's guaranteed income, so it's definitely the easiest type of income that we can use. We actually get to gross it up. So if you receive $4,000 a month, we get to count for it as if you receive $5,000 a month because it's non-taxable pay. When we're qualifying civilian or somebody off of their employment, that's taxable pay, and we're qualifying off the gross pay. So that's the VA's equivalent, is allowing you to gross it up by 25%.
Where are we at?
My dad's going through a nasty divorce.
Okay, he's going through a nasty divorce, looking to buy a house. It's still in his house. Anything he can do. My dad's going
his
through
loan is probably still on one house.
A nasty divorce, looking to buy a house. Okay, so he wants to buy another house. The current house that maybe his spouse is in, or that he's living in currently, is in his name, and he wants, is there anything he can do? So typically, if he's in the midst of a divorce and it isn't all wrapped up yet, we can't do much without a divorce decree. There is certain states where I think we can get a legal separation agreement and go from there. But typically, when you're in a divorce, we don't have any division of debts. We don't know if there's going to be alimony paid or received. We don't know if there's child support. None of that stuff is there. It's all up in the air. So there's no way for us to really assign debt, which equals risk, right? We don't know how to come up with an accurate DTI. We don't know what the real debts are. So typically we're stuck, but you could reach out, Boo, and we can definitely ask more questions to see if it's something that we can help. Sean, you need an IRRRL? Cool. We do a lot of IRRRLs. Go ahead and shoot us a DM if you'd like help. We'd be happy to help you out. Oh, damn. Straight to the ice cream bar.
Yeah, we're sharing it. Poetry, Robin Williams, Skull and Bone Society. Sweet.
All right. Thank you.
Robin Williams was like epic and
awesome.
One of the goats, right? Waco, Texas. Yes. Arkansas. Yes. Kansas. Yes. I have a mortgage in Texas, but currently stationed in North Carolina. Is that a factor? No, because if you occupied that property and then moved away from it, or if your spouse is occupying that property, that's not a problem. Or if you've turned it into a rental or whatever.
Daniel owes $129,000 on his VA loan. My home has $180,000 in equity. How can I build and buy land? Okay, so you can, having one VA loan does not bar you from doing the one-time close. You can absolutely do that, and you can do whatever you need to do. You can retain that property if you have the means to do so and rent it out. You can stay in that property and then list it and sell it when the house is done on the one-time close. Either of those, right? Just know that sometimes what will happen if you're using that, if you're going to retain that home, there's a portion of your entitlement that's staying with that home. And then if you're trying to build, sometimes that can step on you a little bit, just not having enough entitlement. You do have $180,000 in equity that you could close that gap with. You could do a HELOC. You could do a cash out refinance if it made sense. I don't know what your first is, but this is kind of some of the dialogue that we would be going on to figure out what would be the best for you. You do have options.
Godfather, thanks for sharing the live. Cold War vet, Fort Worth, Texas. Yes. Shreveport, Louisiana. Yes. I'm in San Diego. How do I get in contact with you? You can click on the link in our bio. There's a place to talk to Brooke. You can also visit VA Mike Drop, MIKE drop.com. And Mike has options to connect with him on his page as well, or you can just DM us. Whatever is easiest for you guys. Why should vets use your service? Good question. So Mike and I, obviously, we talk about it. We started Veterans Lending Group back in 2015. We worked for Veterans United Home Loans in 2012. I've been originating mortgages since 2001. When I was like 18 years old, I started originating loans. And we have a lot of experience. We both originated VA loans at a very high level, meaning we did a lot of VA loans. And really in this industry, the way that you learn how to handle VA loans and transactions is you have massive repetition. You do it over and over and over and over again. So our teams are heavily trained. 90% of the loans that they close are VA loans, thousands of VA loans per year, nationally across the country. We've been operating that way for a really long time. We don't really want a lot of the other loan programs. We don't try and be the best loan officers at every loan program. We're the best loan officers at VA loans. We're like the special ops of VA loans because this is all we do every day. And we train and practice a lot. So I think that's one of the reasons why. Secondly, we work for a mortgage company that does not have VA overlays, meaning we don't restrict your VA home loan benefit. Most mortgage companies today are going to restrict your VA home loan benefit. They're going to tell you that there's a minimum credit score of 620 or 580 when there isn't. They're also going to potentially overlay or restrict your income qualifications and property qualifications and all kinds of other things. So reason why we work for the mortgage company that we do is because we do so many VA loans. We want to be able to originate VA loans the way the VA guidelines were written.
Nice. Those are good reasons.
I'm in Florida. We talked about that. Currently in Michigan, looking to move to Florida, have a mortgage on my current house.
Imperial Hunter. Yeah, that's okay. You can have more than one VA loan as long as you're going to occupy, right? You're moving from one state to the next. We do this all the time. We can pre-approve you where you stand. We could even close while you're still in Michigan, and then you can roll into that Florida home after it's all done. So
looking to move in 2028. Yeah, you've got time. Yeah, Imperial Hunter said looking to move.
Oh yeah, you got all kinds of time.
Yeah, you got plenty of time. In the process of buying a house in contract currently. The seller is a veteran with the VA, Joe Rare, and says her loan can be assumed by a non-vet. Is that possible? Yes, it is. Yeah. Downside for her is if the non-vet defaults on the loan, she loses her VA loan entitlement, but it can happen. Yes.
And her entitlement will stay with that loan. So if she's trying to go buy again, it could be a short. We actually, I was talking to Addison today. He's got some buyers that were coming across, and they actually did a subject to. And it's a lot of people don't realize what that subject to. If you do it, you may have a contract. There may be a down that came to you. There may be a third party that's going to guarantee those payments, but it's on your credit. It's your debt.
It's your debt,
and your entitlement's wrapped up in it too if you're a veteran. So it's
that's subject to. That's different than assumption.
It is different, but it came down to their eligibility. Their entitlement is wrapped up in that property. It's in California, so the loan amount's high. They're trying to buy something in Oklahoma, I think it was, and they're
such a bummer.
Stuck.
And they weren't educated. Be very careful about Pace Morby and his subject to transactions. If you're trying to be an investor, yeah, it's a great investment because you are not on the hook for that mortgage and you're collecting the income that comes in on that property. But if you are a homeowner and somebody wants to offer you a subject to contract, be really cautious because it's usually not the best deal for you.
Do you think that this has anything to do with this?
No.
Okay.
It's been that way the whole time.
Juju33A says, good credit score, history, but no savings. Is it possible to use my VA loan to buy a first home? It is, right? I mean, usually your VA loan is zero down. There is still cost into it, right? There's closing costs, But if you negotiate for a seller to pay those closing costs, then you'd be all right. What you will need upfront is you got to have earnest money, and you need money for a home inspection. So we've gone over that before. I don't know if you're new to this or if you heard me say it. I don't mean to repeat myself, but typically if you're looking at EM, and I don't know where you are, but EM and a home inspection, and if you can have somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000, usually that'll get you in the door.
Which one did you answer?
That one, Juju.
Okay, Ronnie Tisdale. I have a 2.3% interest rate. We are wanting to purchase, but interest rate is much higher now. Advice. Yes, interest rate is higher. Your strategy has to be, on point. You definitely want to try and negotiate to have the seller pay more towards closing costs than you have previously in the past, if possible. I like a 2-1 temporary buy down when you're purchasing because it gives you time to have a lower interest rate, 2% lower the first year, right? So if you're locking in a 6.25%, you could be a 4.25% rate the first year. It's not your 2.3, but there's no way to get it down to 2.3. I mean, unfortunately, those rates are just not available. We would love to buy more houses with those rates, but it's just not available right now. So I like temporary buy downs. We like having the seller pay off debt in negotiating your closing costs on VA transactions. Seller can pay up to 4% of the purchase price minus your prepaids towards debt, or temporary buy down, and they can pay all of your closing costs. They can also do a permanent buy down of your interest rate. So those would be the scenarios and the strategies I'd be looking for if I was buying right now. Whoa.
Oh, I think questions
Yeah,
like we just did a force reset.
totally
That's all right.
did.
Don't go digging. Okay, so but Mitch was on there. Mitch, you were saying that you have a VA loan, you would like to build something, and you just asked if it's possible. And yes, it is definitely possible. You might have heard I just answered this one, so hopefully you were here for it. But yeah, totally possible.
Xander Nader, high fives is insane. Xander, I know
We
it
gotta
feels
get that chart.
insane, but
Man,
you guys, fives, any interest rates in the fives is actually really good. Historically, we bought our first house in 2001. Our rate was 8.25%. For those of you that have been around and you've owned homes prior to 2012, when interest rates were being artificially lowered by quantitative easing, 6.5, 7.5, 8.5. You might even know 16% if you bought in the 80s or 90s. But anyways, 5% interest rates are actually really good. The problem is that home prices have gone up. So not only are interest rates higher than where they were when they were in the 2s and 3s, where everybody, of course, loved those rates, home prices have gone up. So it's become more difficult to find an affordable house. We understand that. And that's why we like multifamily. They're not going to be able to see that.
Oh, they can see it.
Okay, so you can see the chart. You can't really see the numbers.
I think you can see it. And if you just look at the averages, I mean, you can look at the side and see that throughout history, we're in there. We're back in there, you guys. I know that purchase prices have gone up, but as far as rates go, we're definitely in there. And you can pull this up. You can Google this.
So multifamily does help in offsetting the affordability issues that we're having because you've got people paying you rent, which is helping offset the mortgage payment. That's why we like multifamily properties. Can I start on that note? Can I start buying duplexes when I've only been in for 7 months? Yeah, you can. You have to qualify 90 days of service, right? That's after basic. So 90 days after basic, you qualify for your VA loan, benefit, entitlement. Now you can start investing in multifamily. I don't know if you're living on base. Obviously, you're probably, unless you're married, you might be living on base. But you can apply to move off base and receive BAH, which will help you in your purchase. And then, yeah, you can absolutely start purchasing. If you credit and income qualify, you're good to go. Will this affect the VA loan? Kenny Sony, I don't know
what
we don't see the first part of your question because our questions automatically reset, so we can't see the first part, but re-ask if you want to in the bottom. How can I find your contact info? I'm in Florida. If you DM us or you click on the link in my bio, you will get to my landing page, and that has ways to get in contact.
Okay, Zachary, thanks for the share. This is A1 Guero 2. Where can you get a pre-approval? With a mortgage lender, right? We do pre-approvals. Other mortgage lenders do pre-approvals, hopefully. But yeah, that's where it is for us. It starts with a loan application. That link can be found in Brooke's bio or by going to either one of our web pages, like Brooke just said. And it literally just says get pre-approved. And that's where you start.
John, what's a good credit score to get the best interest rate? Anywhere over typically 680, 660, 680, you're going to be receiving better interest rates. That's kind of the top tier. You can sometimes get a benefit over 700 and 720, depending on the investor.
Rebel Scum, Veterans Lending Group. Is this your company?
Yes.
Yes, sir. That is our company.
Yes, sir. Hello, what's the website? Our personal pages are valoanbish.com And then Mike's is VA Mike Drop, MIKE drop.com. My VA loan BISH is BISH, not TCH.
User statement here. We're got the property at Oklahoma. Getting home loan from local bank is a pain in the ass. Yeah. Yep. I know that to be true. They're, it is just what it is, you guys. When you're, with mortgages, everything we do is mortgages. A bank, they do all kinds of stuff, right? They're loaning on your RVs and your boats and your cars and your maybe home equity and your mortgages.
And they're not doing mostly VA loans either. Yeah,
it's a lot of other stuff there. And they just, banks they're structured way differently, right? If I was to compare us to a bank, it would be comparing a Ferrari to a school bus. And that's just the way it is, right? We're built, we have timeline. We got to knock these things out, man. We have to earn that business. Whereas a lot of people are just comfortable with their banks. So they just kind of waddle in there and,
and the bankers typically just receive a salary, an annual salary. There's no motivation for them
to do anything,
to close more loans or hurry up and close more loans or,
Nothing against them, just a different world.
B9 or 60. Is there a difference between a realtor and a land realtor? I mean, some realtors are also land realtors, but some realtors are only land realtors, right? So it depends on who you're talking to. If you're wanting to buy land, are you wanting to use a real estate agent that has land selling experience? Yes, because there are unique things about land transactions. You want them to have had some experience with land transactions. So it is a question I would ask, regardless of what your real estate agent does. I would ask them, have you had land experience? How many land transactions have you done? So that they can tell you, hopefully, honestly, if that is something that they have experience with.
My hubby has outstanding credit. Mine is on good line.
Outstanding credit, I'm thinking means it's negative, like a negative payment history.
Maybe derogatory. Yeah, we'd have to look at it. I don't know how to comment on that one, my friend. New Mexico, yes. All the states, all 50 states, and Puerto Rico, you guys. Marine Semper Fi, good question. Who pays closing costs? And the answer to that is this. There is closing costs. Someone has to pay them, but it's really how you negotiate it, right? A seller can pay closing costs. You can pay closing costs. You can split it. Your realtor or realtors can chip in. You can split that thing 4 ways. You can get a gift. You can even go get a loan and finance closing costs as long as you can pay for that personal loan for the monthly payment in your ratios. So a lot of different things that you can do there to get your closing costs squared away.
Josh, what is our take on the upcoming regulations and agent compensation, and will they affect the VA loans? I think it's going to take some getting used to. I think real estate agents are going to have to be negotiating more. I'm seeing real estate agents getting much more involved in the lending conversation right now. I think they're trying to create value for themselves, which that's not the right place for them to create value, because I've been a real estate agent. I've been a loan officer. Being a real estate agent is a whole nother world than being a loan officer. You just can't speak on loan officer things when you're a real estate agent, and you honestly shouldn't. They need to stay in their lane. They need to be focusing on what they can do to offer value to their clients, buyers and sellers. And getting involved in the lending side is not going to offer value. Now, they can make sure they're working with a good lender. That's important, making sure their clients are working with the right lender, a lender that specializes in their loan program, which is, VA loans. I think it's going to depend on, what the sellers are doing in each market. The markets will be different, but it's still negotiable right now. So real estate agents are allowed to VA buyers will be allowed to pay real estate agents commissions. If you guys want to pay your real estate agents commission and the seller refuses to pay your agent's commission, then you're now legally allowed to, effective August 10th, but you haven't been in the past. So VA buyers have not been allowed to pay their real estate commissions previously. So it's going to be up for negotiation. It definitely needs to be a discussion with your buyer's agent, because you will be signing buyer agency agreements now, which lock you into working with that buyer's agent. I know it's long, but it is something that's important to talk about. So we can keep rolling. Mike hates it when I talk about the real estate agent commissions.
Well, look at John Tully down here. Does the guy next to you talk?
John.
It is what it is. I am more just direct and to the point. Obviously, if you've been here for a second, you know that I talk. Brooke is a little more long-winded. She likes to really pack in the info for you guys.
I mean, I can give you the half-ass answers if that's what you want. I'll just start doing that.
It doesn't have to be half-ass. You can package it in a way to where everything is there in a short.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
Nope.
Okay, so can I purchase a multifamily with tenants already placed using the VA loan? Yes, you can. Yep, absolutely. That's no issue at all. When you enlist, how long until you use the VA loan? That's lieutenant. It's 90 days active. There you go.
Sorry, keep going.
OTF Joe Long. Sorry if the question's been asked. Oh, this is minimum credit score. So there is no minimum credit score. That's an overlay that you guys find all the time because most investors or lenders or banks have that overlay, but there is no minimum credit score dictated by the VA. It says that nowhere in the handbook. So we don't have a minimum credit score.
Eli, you skipped Eli.
Oh, Eli, where's Eli at? Eli, I'm looking to purchase a duplex or triplex by the end of the year. Where should I start? Eli, this is what I had addressed earlier, right? For anybody that's looking to, whether it's single family, whether it's multi-unit, if you are looking for financing, start with your financing. You've got to knock out your pre-approval. Hold on, guys. I'm waiting for the little puzzle piece that we have to slide over. That means we're at 90 minutes and we should be back. So everybody needs to start with that pre-approval. The pre-approval, it seems daunting. A lot of people are just like, oh man, I don't want to do it. It's not. It's 10 or 15 minutes followed by supporting documents to support the information you just put in there. It's all, you can do it from the comfort of your couch. So that's where you start, get that pre-approval done. From there, then you can link up with a realtor, go over what you want property-wise, put together a thread of homes that are actually listed and start shopping there.
Well, John, I get to answer your question, which is very fitting. So I'm just kidding.
Are you puckered? Are you being tender?
No, I'm not. I'm John. So interest rate 7 or 8%? Not really. I mean, right now, if you have a low credit score, you might be in the low sevens because credit score does impact your interest rate. The lower your credit score, the higher the risk is to the investor that you will potentially not make your payments or default on the loan. That's how they see it. So they're going to charge a higher interest rate. If you have a high credit score, you're likely going to be in the sixes. You can buy down into the fives if you want. I see a lot of people on social media saying, oh, my client just locked in the 5% range. They're buying those interest rates down. Just so you know, you're not getting a 5% par without a buy down. You're having to pay to get those lower interest rates. So we can do a video on LEs and loan estimates and how to watch for that. So you guys know where to look on your documents, but that's how the process works. And yes, this gentleman does talk a lot as well. And
we don't just run through the small text, John. We just read every single one of the comments, and there's more people than just you in here. And can you buy land and build at the same time with the VA loan? Yes, that's the VA one-time close custom construction. I had just spoke about it and kind of how it works short time ago. Rebel Scum already own the land and want to build with VA. Cool, not a problem at all. You can own the land. You can not own the land. You can be carrying an owner contract and we can pay it off. You can have a loan on it and we can pay that off. Any variation is good.
Helicopter Dad looking to move January 25th. Where should? Sorry, I don't know where. Where should? I don't see the rest of your question. Sorry, I don't see the rest of your question. Helicopter Dad. Where should you start if you're looking to move January 25th? First thing that you want to start with is a pre-approval. So if that's what you're looking for, otherwise ask your question or finish your question. Oh, where should I be at in the process? Got it. Okay, so when should you start the process? If you're moving in January, typically 90 days out is a good time to start the process unless you have credit concerns. If you have credit concerns and you want to make sure that your credit is the best that it can be prior to closing, then you could start a little bit further out, 6 months out. Again, we're going to do a pre-approval off of a soft credit pull. So we're not going to put an inquiry on your credit report when we pre-approve you. So it won't negatively impact you to just go ahead and start further out if you do have concerns. But if you don't have concerns, 90 days out from when you're moving.
Appreciate you guys telling John to beat it. So John is actually gone. I went ahead and blocked it.
Bye, John.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know, man. We get some weirdos in here once in a while.
Okay. Can I purchase a multifamily home while on active duty? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then Josh Soldier says, please answer my question. So yes, absolutely, man. After your 90 days active duty, you've got your benefit and you're good to go. You would absolutely be able to apply and see if you qualify.
And Fabian was asking for tips if you're a first-time home buyer. The best tips that we can give you is we do have a class that is specific to, teaching you all the things about being a first-time buyer, so like starting VA Loans 101. So if you want to get information for that class, just DM us and we'll get you the invite so that you know when the next class is.
Okay. Let's move into here. Any tips for you already did that one. What are rates now? You guys, the rate, I don't know anybody that's doing these lives that quotes rates, right? And there's a reason for it. It's because there's so many factors that goes into interest rates. There isn't just one rate. And I think people maybe think that it's like a rate. Some people think there's a rate per state.
Or a VA issues
a rate or something.
And that's not how that works.
There isn't, you guys. Yeah. If we were to put out a rate here, if all of you were locking today, you would likely have different rates or costs for that rate, right? Because you'd be buying different stuff. You'd have different ratios. You'd have different credit scores. You live in different areas. All these things matter. So that's where we're at. You typically, right now, we're somewhere between like 5.75 and 6.25 typically.
Let's see. Pablo Sanchez, veteran and realtor in Los Angeles, Orange County. Do y'all do VA loans over here? Yes, we do.
Everywhere, buddy.
Pablo, yep, absolutely. Yep. We are lending in all 50 states, but we do happen to do a good handful of loans in California, obviously due to the population of veterans living in California. So happy to assist you and happy to connect.
Yeah. So Travis Walker says rates are a joke. Do not buy. And Travis, you're totally entitled to that, man. And rates are definitely higher than the 3% or 2.75 that they were. So what do you suggest that people do? Should they just wait and then wait for rates to come down a little bit and then have the properties go up in price and then everyone jump off because rates are down and now there's a bidding war and then you pay way, way more for it? Is that kind of the solution here? Or I'm curious, what's your take?
Let's see. Do you know how hard it is to buy a duplex in San Diego? Yeah, go me. San Diego is one of the tough markets, right? There's going to be some tough markets in the country where it's going to be very difficult for you to find multifamily. I have some real estate agents down in the San Diego County, and they're saying there's actually land for sale. Now, of course, finding land, finding a builder, building a duplex, putting the budget together and getting it where you want your budget to be in San Diego may be complicated. It may be difficult, but there are people that have done it. Again, it just depends. So you may not be able to find a duplex in the San Diego market right now, but keep your eyes open and don't be discouraged. And maybe your next duty station is the place for you to start investing.
All right, I'm going up here. Can we rent out a home from the VA loan? You can rent out your home that you have a VA loan on to go in and whatever, buy another one, rent if you wanted to. Yes, you absolutely can, as long as you occupied it as your primary for a duration of time.
Adam, hey, dumb question. Not a dumb question at all. Can I use my VA loan more than once? This is actually one of the most common misconceptions about the VA loan. Thanks for the glasses.
Ooh, thanks. Appreciate it.
But yes, you can absolutely reuse your VA loan. You can have multiple VA loans at one time. And that all depends on if you're reusing your VA loan and having more than one VA loan at a time. That's going to depend on how much entitlement you have left. How much did you use on a previous home or your current home? And how much are you going to be purchasing and what the county loan limit is where you're buying, the VA county loan limit. So we will run those calculations for you when you're going through the pre-approval process. We're going to tell you, here's your maximum limit and here's how much zero down with you having this outstanding home with a VA loan against it.
I thought I saw, I did. Hey, Kathy. Kathy says hello.
Hi, Kathy. How are you?
Nice to see you again. Okay, we're back up here. That's dumb question. So Big G, can I buy land and build primary residence and also put a building for events on property? Well, you can definitely buy land and build your primary residence, and you can build a shop, right? Or some kind of an outbuilding. We don't need to worry about events, right? If you want to hold an event there once in a while, that's your own deal. But yeah, you can do that.
Can I use a VA home loan twice? Yep. Jay Callie, you can use it multiple times, more than one time. You can have 5 VA loans at one time, depending on how much entitlement you're using and what the county cap is where you're purchasing. Does credit matter a lot if you're military? VA does have they don't have a minimum credit score requirement, but they are looking at your credit payment history. So really they want to see the last 12 months of on-time payments and 24 months of on-time rent. If you're living in on-base housing, that is considered on-time rent. I have a 655 score, but a late payment on September 2023. When should I get a pre-approval?
You've got a 655 and you've got one late payment. I would give it a shot. Typically, if you got one late payment with a 655, that tells me that you've got other credit history. You probably have some duration of paying those on time. And it's something that the system might just kind of overlook and get an approval. And even if it didn't, and we're going manual, if it's one late, is it a 30-day or is it something crazy like 100, 120 days late? Or that's what I asked.
Even if you don't get an approval to close in August, you will get an approval to close once that late is over 12 months old, most likely. So you could just get approved and then be ready to buy something, get under contract, and close after that late season's 12 months.
Adam, it is entirely possible to use the one-time close to build a barn dominium. Yeah, super popular right now.
Dude named Dalton, should you buy interest down on a VA loan, 780 credit score, still a 6.99 rate? Are you saying that you currently have a mortgage and it's at 6.99? And should you pay to buy the rate down with a refinance? Because I would say, if you're talking about a purchase, I would try and get the seller to pay the closing costs, and I would try and get the seller to pay for a 2-1 temporary buy down. But it sounds to me like you already have an existing home, a VA loan, and you're asking, should you buy down the rate? Interest rates are going to be coming down most likely. The Feds are supposed to be lowering rates. The economy is looking better, as far as it's actually looking worse, but that's good for mortgage interest rates, right? Interest rates, the job, new jobs numbers just came out today, and there's less new jobs than what they anticipated. So that's actually showing the economy may be in a recession already. We've been thinking it's in a recession. There's a lot of data that shows that. So that means mortgage interest rates are going to be getting better. So I wouldn't spend too much money to buy down the rate right now, knowing that rates are going to continue to trend down because you can just refinance again if you need to 12 months, 18 months down the road if rates drop drastically.
Can I use the VA loan for an investment property? No, you can't right out of the gate, right? You can. It's kind of a mixed deal, right? You can buy a multi-unit that you'd be able to or rent out the units that you are not occupying, but you can't buy like a single family investment property. You have to occupy as your primary with every VA loan.
There's another person telling me I talk too much. Go for it.
I'm
just gonna shut up for the rest of the night. This is so rare.
Lock it down.
I think what. Go for it.
What?
Keep going.
What? Brooke, don't be sad. Well, John Tolley's gone now, but John, you made this incorrect statement on your way out. If you get a VA loan, 0 closing costs. And that's very much incorrect, you guys. Every single loan, whether it's a purchase or refinance, there is going to be closing costs. Whether it's a HELOC, anytime that you're moving money, there's a cost because there's all kinds of people that got to touch it, right? So yeah, that's very incorrect, and thank you for that. We are going to 10 Kin. I'm trying to enlist. When and how will I be able to use my VA loan? So 10, if you are in 90 days active, and that starts after basic. So 90 days active duty after basic training, even AIT even counts. You would get your benefit, right? Or some people say you get your COE. It's when you get your eligibility. At that point, you would be able to apply for a VA loan to see if you meet all the other qualifications to be able to move forward. Where are we at? I seriously don't know where we are. Oh, okay. We're right here. If you're at 100% with the VA, do they add an extra 20% to show your income? So no, right? The VA doesn't. But what you're asking about is, are we able to gross it up? And we can gross up all non-taxable income. So your 100% is non-taxable income. We can gross that up by 25% only for qualifying, not for residual. We do have to back that out on the residual income calculation for the VA, but it will give you a little bump for qualifying there on the front end. You gonna go here?
If my live-in property was bought with a VA loan, can I get a second house investment property with a VA loan? No. Tex-Mex, you have to be able to occupy the property as your primary residence, and you have to do that within 60 days or a reasonable period of time from closing. That's VA's requirement. So you can move out of the house that you're currently living in, turn that into a rental property, move into the new house. After you've lived there for, let's say, 12 months, then you could move that one, turn that one into a rental property. And if you wanted to move back into the other one or do something like that. But no, you do have to intend to occupy the property as your primary.
Jordan Villamar 501. If I use my VA loan to buy a 4-plex, can I rent out the other 3 right away and stay in one? Absolutely, man. You hit it right on the head. That's exactly what we would want you to do. How do you refinance a VA loan? Yeah, Mel. The same way, like if you're like when you purchase it, right? It's really just a matter of getting in touch with your mortgage lender saying, hey, this is what I'd like to accomplish, whether it be lowering rate or trying to access some of that equity. And again, for all you guys, it goes the same way. We always start with a loan application so we can pull everything together, build the deal, make sure that it makes sense, make sure that payments are what you want and what you're trying to get out is what you want. And then we move it from there. Depending on the loan product, right? I don't know what kind of refinance you're trying to do, whether it be cash out or an IRRRL. They do have different movements for each one of them. So,
Freeband's asking, where do you get pre-approval from? I just joined. So you're gonna click on the link in my bio, and that will take you to my landing page, and you'll see Get Pre-Approved. You'll click on that pre-approved button. It will take you to the online loan application. And once you get to the online loan application, you take 10 to 15 minutes. You complete that information. It will get kicked over to our team, and our team will start working on the pre-approval and be in touch with you.
Oh, yeah. User's got a 740, rock and roll. That's a great score. A Wang 789. Will getting denied for a credit card decrease your credit score? Typically not. If you had one credit pull, if you're like out there trying to get approved for all kinds of credit cards, then that could actually chip away your credit score. Just when you're having all those, what do they call that? Where they're checking your credit.
Inquiries.
Thank you. Inquiries. How many years in active duty do I have to do to be eligible for VA loan? I'm going to join soon. So 90 days. 90 days active, my friend, gets you access to be eligible for a VA loan. Semper Fi, my friend. What is that? Horacio Para. I'm sorry, man. It's small on my screen.
Horatio.
It is Horatio. Horatio Para. I am a tard. Sorry about that, Horatio. What type of credit scores? Horatio, we don't have there's no minimum credit score. That's something that's overlaid by a ton of the investors, but no minimum credit score for a VA loan.
James is asking, can I open 2 VA loans and how? Yeah, so let's say you bought a house in Fort Benning for $200,000 while you were stationed at Fort Benning, and then you get orders to Fort Bliss. Fort Bliss is in Texas. You've got the county cap for VA loans is $766,550. So we would take $766,550 minus the $200 that you spent in Fort Benning, and you would have roughly $566,550 left, zero down. That's how you're able to qualify for multiple VA loans. Then you move into that house, you live there for 2 years, and then you get orders somewhere else, Colorado Springs. So now you go to Colorado Springs, you bought a $200,000 house in Fort Bliss or $300,000 house in Fort Bliss, you take $566,550 minus the $300,000, you would have $266,550 left, zero down using your VA loan. Now, if the county loan limit is higher in Colorado Springs, then you have a higher amount to use to access. So it depends on what the county cap is, where you're purchasing.
Oh, yeah. This one, Tank, I'll take yours, man. Question, I heard the rates are going down. Is that going to happen anytime soon? I'm at 6.25. So it already is kind of moving that way. But I think what you're referring to is like a Fed cut. And the Fed just got out of a couple of days of meetings. It looks like what we're pointing toward is the first cut maybe in September. And I'm just saying maybe because I can't tell you guys how many times we've thought that it was going to happen here. For the last year and a half. So that's what it's looking like. I can tell you that we've had a couple of improvements over the last 2 days. So that's good. We are moving the right direction, and rates are definitely in a place now where we're starting to see movement. People have been waiting, are getting moving. I've got Brooke and I both have a large pipeline of past clients starting to see some action there. They're starting to reach out. So we can kind of gauge what's going on. So it is happening, guys, slowly but surely.
B-Mail, Cross Country in the house. What's up, buddy?
Oh, another one.
Thanks
Nice.
for being here. Yeah, Cross Country's live.
Thanks for stopping in.
On TikTok. Tank, anytime soon. Okay. Daniel, Ola, what's up? Nikki, who are the mortgage lenders? We have a whole team of mortgage lenders. They're all VA loan specialists. Our company, Veterans Lending Group, is the company that we co-founded. But our team, the mortgage lenders, if that's what you're asking for, those are mortgage loan officers, and they're on our team with Veterans Lending Group.
Word. Do you have to live in the home you purchased with your VA loan? Stephanie's asking. Stephanie, you do have to live with it initially. It does have to be your primary residence for a while. If there's nothing that comes up that's going to change your course, right? Like a PCS or a job move or a whatever, family explosion or something crazy, then you should try to stay in there for 12 months. After that time, you can definitely rent it out and go get another VA loan or another type of loan or rent or whatever you want.
Mike's bigger dreams. So I have a fourplex and now I want to buy another, but I can't qualify for shit because they said my DTI is too high. So this is one of the challenges of, having multifamily properties. But if you've been living in that fourplex, it should be treated as a departure residence. So that means that mortgage payment should be completely offset, either by you're offsetting the unit that you're leaving, and then we're using the rental income that you have reported to offset the other 3 units. Depending on what you've reported for income. So it's a little more complicated to do a multifamily VA pre-approval. Potentially the lender that you're working with doesn't know what they're doing. So I would definitely get a second opinion and have someone take a second look at your tax returns and see what you could qualify with a different lender. So we're happy to take a look if you want a second opinion.
Yeah, Mike, how long have you owned it, man? What do you got for equity in the thing? Is everything all leased out? How much entitlement did you burn on it? I'd have a few questions on that.
We helped one of my clients buy like a 3rd triplex, I think it was, in Florida not too long ago. And he was real tight, but we squeaked it by. So not saying it absolutely can be done, but let's give it a second opinion because a lot of lenders don't know how to handle those.
David, can you refinance a VA loan as a conventional loan?
Sorry.
Questions just
or to lower your interest rate is what it said.
Lower your interest rate?
Oh, wait, sorry.
Sorry, hold on, David. We're getting back there.
Questions totally reset. Did I go too high?
I don't know.
Too far?
We were behind 55 questions, so I don't know where. Can you buy me that? What's funny for you? No, I think you're still going.
Dang. David. Well, maybe answer another question while I'm scrolling.
What's the funding fees for second VA loans? JC Cuba is asking. And so for your second use, we are, oh my God, I'm totally spacing that. What is it?
3.3.
Yeah, it is 3.3. Gee, sorry about that. And that's if you're not putting anything down. There is a reduction. I think it reduces down to 1.85 if you're putting 5% or less down, or 1.65 if you're putting 10% or more. Man, I should brush up on that. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so that's the funding fee. What's the max DTI on a VA loan? There is no max DTI on a VA loan. David, your question got lost, but just re-ask it so that we can answer it. I apologize. I don't know what happened there.
I think what you're maybe asking, David, is can you go conventional to free up your entitlement? And you can refinance into a conventional loan that will free up your VA, but that is looked at like a one-time restoration. So after that, if you tried to do something again, you would have to liquidate all of your VA held properties, sell them or refi them out or something like that to be able to get your benefit back.
Is there a VA funding fee? If so, can you avoid it? And how? Did you answer that one?
No.
Okay, so there is a VA funding fee unless you have a 10% or higher VA disability rating. If you have a 10% or higher VA disability rating, the VA funding fee is waived for the rest of your life. You can't avoid it any other way than having a disability rating of 10% or higher, or a Purple Heart recipient. That's the other thing that waives the funding fee. Otherwise, if you put 5 to 10% or 10% or more down, that will lower your funding fee. So it reduces it, but it doesn't completely waive it.
I was wrong on my subsequent use. If you're putting 5% or more down, it reduces to 1.5. 10% or more is 1.25. Sorry, guys, I don't originate loans anymore. And after the Blue Water Navy bill and the funding fees moving all over the place, I'm scattered.
Is that current? Because that shows 3.6% for subsequent use. That's not right.
It says old funding fee. That's from the old ones when it kicked up with that Blue Water.
Okay,
so
yeah.
Now we're here.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I am at 830. This is for I am junior. I'm at 830 at 4.75. Should I refinance? No. Right now, it doesn't make sense for you to refinance yet because any lender that's offering you below 4.75, remember with a VA IRRRL, you have to lower your rate by at least 0.5 percentage point. So if any lender's offering you 4.25 or lower, you're paying thousands and thousands of dollars for that rate. So it does not make sense for you to refinance yet. Keep holding, keep watching the market. Struggling to get a VA offer accepted. Sellers noting VA loan is undesirable. Suggestions. Yes. The best thing to do here is to have your lender and your real estate agent communicating with the seller and the seller's agent to try and get them to accept a VA offer. A good VA lender will be able to negotiate and convince agents to accept the VA offer because they have lots of experience. They're going to talk to the real estate agent and explain why a VA offer is no different than a conventional offer. We close VA transactions just as quickly as conventional transactions. And the VA appraisal process has some insurance in there where you can actually go back and fight the VA appraised value with the VA directly, where on a conventional loan, you can't do that. So it's more about education and getting a strategy and having your lender and your real estate agent working together in partnership to tackle that, to give you the best chance of having an offer accepted.
That's a good one, Timothy's. Can I use my VA loan to purchase an RV park if I live in a home on the property? Man, that would be, I'd be curious how large the RV park is. I can tell you this. No income from the RV park would be allowed to be used in qualifying for the purchase of that home. You'd have to have a secondary income, a job, or something type that has nothing to do with that RV park. And then they'd probably look at the home. As long as it's standard and it makes sense and it covers everything that you need. If there happens to be a small RV park there, then probably not an issue. If it's a huge conglomerate, all these outbuildings, there's staff, there's this and that, that's probably going to be a no.
Let's see. What do you suggest looking into if I want to do a custom build? I would look into the VA one-time close custom construction loan. It's the best construction loan that's out there. And if you want to go watch, we have a video on YouTube under the VA Loan Bish channel on YouTube, and it goes into about 1.5 hours. It goes into detail about the one-time close custom construction buy land and build program using your VA loan. What's the funding fee for a second VA loan? We talked about that, 3.3%, or it can be lowered to 1.25 if you put a down payment down.
Yeah, 1.4 and then 1.25 if you go above 10%.
Minimum score needed. There's no minimum credit score needed for VA loans. It's VA is going to look at your credit history, not your credit score.
Jesus, you are so welcome for the info, and thank you for the kind words. The questions reset, so we probably missed your question. If you don't mind re-asking it, we're pretty much there. We're going to sign off pretty soon anyway. I'll make sure that we reset and then ask your question. Oh wait, nope, I see it. Build a multifamily each on the same lot. So you would not be able to build multiple multifamilies on one tax parcel. It's one unit like that, one, let's say 4 unit per tax parcel. Good question.
Yes, Aiden, do you normally get a better interest rate with a VA loan? Yes. VA loans typically have better interest rates than conventional loans. They're usually pretty close to FHA loans, but better than conventional loans. Tips for buying land on the VA loan, Sugar Rat. It's going to be looking at watching that video about the VA one-time closed construction loan on my YouTube. Where do I apply to see if I have a VA loan? Zumusu, you can either apply on the va.gov website for your certificate of eligibility. That will tell you if you have your entitlement for the actual benefit, but then you have to see if you credit and income qualify with a lender, right? So it's two parts. You're going to do that piece, and then you have to see if you can credit and income qualify as well. So, but you can go to the va.gov website and pull your COE, but we will also pull it for you when we're going through the pre-approval process. Looking for a VA attorney because my mortgage company violated the Home Act, M Dragons Haven. I don't know. I don't know any, VA loan attorneys need to be in your local market practicing in your state. So we don't have a list of attorneys, unfortunately, nationally. But if you're in Texas, let us know. We do have some attorneys in Texas. Build a multifamily. Okay. How do you look up your maximum limit? That's going to be your VA loan entitlement, or your certificate of eligibility will show you your VA loan entitlement available, but it doesn't tell you your maximum limit. Your maximum limit has to be calculated by the lender. We have to pull your COE, your certificate of eligibility, figure out how much entitlement you've used, look at the county cap where you're going, and then calculate that for you. So we need a little more information, but our team's happy to do that. No offers accepted after 7 months, 11 offers. Seller, I can't see there's no name, but the no name, we're talking about having a difficulty having your offers accepted. Let us know where you are. And if you want to DM us, we're happy to talk to your real estate agent and see if there's any ideas that we can provide. It depends on the market. Some markets are more difficult than others.
All right. So I'm pretty well cooked. It's been a couple hours, guys. We've been banging these things out nonstop. So we'll pick a couple to close out. Brooke's going to the bottom. That's a change.
Well, we were behind.
Okay. So what do we got? How many times can I get a VA loan? Over and over, numerous times. No cap on that. How can I offset my DTI for a VA loan? How can you offset your DTI? You can either make more money or have less debt.
So you could have the seller pay debt off at closing to get your DTI down.
Piston Hands, I'm in Texas, is good info. Appreciate it. Thanks so much for joining. How can I get a hold of you guys? Angel Torres. How can they get a hold of? You can shoot us a DM, Angel, or you can go to either right here on TikTok, or you can go to either one of our web pages, VALoanBish.com or VA Mike, M-I-K-E drop.com. Either way, it's good to go.
You can also DM us if you can't find the websites. Go ahead and just DM us. We'll get in contact with you.
Yeah. As always, guys, want to give a shout out to With a V, he's just kind of like our resident moderator now. And man, he signs in every night that we go live, and he does his best to try to answer you guys because we get so far behind. Just because we try to go through and answer all of you guys. So we couldn't do it without you, man. We appreciate you so much. Thanks With the V. Thanks all you guys.
Thank you guys. Yeah.
We're signing out this is our Friday night. So we'll be back in on Monday. Don't forget to like and follow if you want to get an alert when we go live, so you can chime in and try to stump us.
And if you guys didn't get your questions answered, you can feel free to DM us. Reach out. We do have, if you click on the link in my bio, we do have a calendar that you can schedule. Look for Talk to Brooke. You can schedule a one-on-one consultation with myself or Mike, and we can answer your questions one-on-one to make sure that you guys have the information that you need.
Yep. Joe Flacco, you do need 2 filed tax years for your business, my friend. And the rest of you guys, sleep great. Have a good weekend. We'll catch up with you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.
2,000 users. Yeah. It was just.
I appreciate it. Yeah.